So, welcome back to Good Words. I got studio assistant Lou here with me, so if you hear any snorts or grunts, it's just Luna doing what Lunas do. I was just sitting here, and before I started recording, I was praying, and I was asking for guidance and asking for direction and just, asking for help regarding, us starting the process of adoption in June. And I'm not kidding. I opened my eyes and I went to, start recording the podcast, and my phone rang, and it was some answers and it was some guidance and some support from a person deeply involved in the state of Texas who just happens to be the niece of a golfer on the golf course that I randomly, you know, came up in conversation that's, the big plan for the summer is to get started on the process and on the journey, to get out of the gathering information and get started with the action. And he asked if I wanted her number, and I asked him, just to reach out. And long story short, I got her number. I left a message on yesterday, and she called me just now. And she is an invaluable resource who had incredible insight and guidance and will be able to help us throughout the life of our future child. So, holy crap. Just a little God shot for you. My sponsor back in Washington used to always say, is it odd or is it God? And when the phone rings directly after you open your eyes from prayer, I don't think you need to wonder. So I've been doing a series on listener requests. We've been talking about, what's kind of grinding your gears. What are your challenges? Like what are you struggling with? And I think that that's a really good thing. It's a good thing for me to offer solution on, because I feel like it's a good way for me to contribute and add value to your life. And, it also helps me because everything that I hear, I definitely face. But it's been a while since we've just talked some good words, where we weren't talking about problems and we weren't talking about challenges, but just taking in the good words from people that inspire and influence my beliefs and my thoughts. And so I want to start, I'm just going to kind of read some off and chat with you about them and why they touch my heart. And I hope that they touch yours too. So I'll start with Ram Dass because Ram Dass, one of his most famous sayings was, we're all just walking each other home. And that's just such a good reminder that nobody's more important, nobody's more or less. We're actually all doing this together, and we're all headed to the same place. We're all headed in the same direction. And we're really just here to walk each other home. And it's extra special as I think about my family in Utah as they walk my grandmother home. I think it's just a really special time to be, a family, and to remember that, all the things that we place importance on and all the priorities and all the schedules and all the routines, we're really just walking each other home. So he also said, the quieter you become, the more you can hear. And I love this for so many reasons. But really, when we just take the chatter from our mind and we put it out, then we're just continuing that. We're continuing that cycle. We're continuing to reinforce our thoughts. But when we just get quiet and we just either listen, whether it's with another person or whether it's with nature or whether it's with, you know, with our inner guidance or our, Holy Spirit, like the quieter that you become, the less you keep telling your story, the more that you can hear and the more that you absorb and you receive. And he wrote a book, Ram Dass did, called Be Here Now. And it's easier said than done, but be here now. Not in yesterday and not focused on tomorrow, but in this moment right here. This is your life. This is what's happening. This is everything that you need right in this moment. Like if you're listening to this podcast and you're not being chased by a tiger or a lion or a bear or a X, or you're safe right now. And sometimes our mind likes to tell us different. So next we will go to Wayne Dyer, who is another one of my favorites and something I share with you guys often. Is he says, change the way you look at things, and the things you look at change. And if you think about that, like, if I change the way I look at things, like the fact that, we're in the last days of my grandmother's life. I mean, if I look at it like I am losing something and I'm losing someone that I love and she's not going to be there, I'm not going to be able to call her and I'm not going to be able to talk to her. I mean, it's true, but if that's what I focus on, then that's what I'm going to experience. But if I focus on she's going home to her heavenly Father, and this is just as natural as coming into this world. And, Ram Dass also says that death is like slipping off a tight shoe. So if I change the way I look at this upcoming life event, then the upcoming life event has the ability to change. It can still be painful and I can still grieve, but it doesn't have to be anger or resentment. It can be appreciation for what was and what is. Wayne Dyer also says, when you dance, your purpose isn't to get to a certain place on the floor. It's to enjoy each step along the way. And when I read that and when I hear that, I picture myself dancing, and there is absolutely no place I'm trying to get to. I don't have a destination or a goal. It is absolutely the journey. And I think that absolutely translates to our life. It's enjoying each step along the way. It's not about where we're going, because a lot of times we work and work and work to get to this point. And a lot of us, myself included, will get to a point and go, what's next? What's next? It's not like, okay, we made it, we're done. It's like that constant pursuit of achievement or accomplishment. But it's good to just enjoy the journey. And Wayne Dyer also says, you cannot be lonely if you like the person you're alone with. Now, I don't know. I've been very, very lonely, but it was in times that I was not comfortable with who I was alone with. But I think I was very lonely with other people as well. But I will say that I value my solitude now, and it is necessary to recharge and just be with myself. And I no longer have those swirling, self-depreciating thoughts. They do creep in sometimes when situations arise, and I have to ask myself, if I want to keep thinking that thought, and so on and so forth. But you cannot be lonely if you like the person you're alone with. So Eckart Tolle, he wrote The Power of Now, life-changing book. If you have not read The Power of Now, grab you a copy, or a newer, also very, very valuable, life-changing read. He said, realize deeply that the present moment is all you ever have. And that's really similar to Ram Dass and Be Here Now. But he says, realize deeply. And so that's not just a surface level, be here now. That's on a deeper level, really recognizing yourself that right now and now is what you have. He says, the primary cause of unhappiness is never the situation, but your thoughts about it. So that's very similar to what Wayne Dyer said about change the way you look at things. But I'll read that again. The primary cause of unhappiness is never the situation, but your thoughts about it. And that's been true in many, many situations just this week. Yesterday, there was a crazy windstorm. The sun was super bright in the sky, but there was just wind. It ripped a branch off our tree. It broke our rope lights in the backyard. And it was one of the first times to where I was like, this is really neat. Like, this is really cool. Instead of, oh, I just wish the wind would stop blowing. I wish the sun would go down. I just appreciated it for what it was. Another Eckart Tolle quote, life is the dancer. You are the dance. So it's almost like we are being breathed. Like we're not the ones that are breathing. Like we are being breathed by life. Like we're life experiencing itself. So the great Rumi, he said, the wound is the place where the light enters you. That is very, very true, because it was absolutely my hurt places that cracked me wide open to let good things in. The wound is the place where the light enters you. So if you are suffering and you are hurt, allowing the light to enter you through that pain, that's where the healing is, and that's where the light enters you. Rumi said, let yourself be silently drawn by the strange pull of what you really love. It will not lead you astray. Like what you really love. If you let that be your guidance system, you really won't go wrong, because you will be following your joy. So if there's something that you absolutely love and that it just inspires you and that it just ignites that flame inside of you, let yourself be led by that calling. Deepak Chopra, I've never read a Deepak Chopra book. But I would like to. There are several that are on my to read list, but I do read, different quotes and different articles online. But this one stood out. Every time you're tempted to react in the same old way, ask if you want to be a prisoner of the past or a pioneer of the future. So when a situation arises, you have your gut reaction, you have that initial instinct, But a lot of that is your programming. That is what you have always done. This is the way we've always did it. But you have to ask yourself, is this in line with the person that I want to show up as? Is this in line with who I want to be in the world? And if the answer is yes, then carry on. But if the answer is no, then what does the pioneer of your future look like in that situation? And that, in order to actually follow through with that, I feel pause is crucial. Like if something shows up and it upsets you, or it, it hurts you, or whatever it is, taking a moment before reacting to be able to respond is crucial, because then you have that chance to question how you want to show up, as opposed to being on autopilot and just reacting, and then possibly, continuing patterns, or saying or doing things that you may regret. He also said, in the process of letting go, you will lose many things from the past, but you will find yourself. In the process of letting go, you will lose many things from the past, but you will find yourself. That has been very, very true for me. And I bet for you too. There are a lot of things that we lose when we let go. There are friends, there are jobs, there are, truths and beliefs. But as we let go of these things that we maybe have held on to so tightly for so long, if we let go once again of conditioning and programming, and we just start making our own choices, we find ourselves. There are no extra pieces in the universe. Everyone is here because he or she has a place to fill, and every piece must fit itself into the big jigsaw puzzle. I'm going to read that again because I stumbled a little. There are no extra pieces in the universe. Everyone is here because he or she has a place to fill, and every piece must fit itself into the big jigsaw puzzle. We're all here doing our own thing, and we all have, in our big collective consciousness, we all have our role to fill and our life to lead. There is a place for all of us because we are here. So I did want to go back over Thich Nhat Hanh. I'm not going to say that again. He says, walk as if you're kissing the earth with your feet. So in the spirit of slowing down and being present and taking pieces from what some of these other great thinkers and spiritual talkers have said, walk as if you're kissing the earth with your feet. Just picture that with me. Picture being barefoot, and whether you're in sand or walking in the water, or you're walking in freshly cut green grass, but with each step, picture that you're kissing the ground with your feet. It does not get any more present than that. I suggest we all try that after we listen to this. He also says, smile, breathe, and go slowly. I think the smile part is extra important, because that just takes that moment with ourselves to say, like, I'm okay, I'm right here. And then the breath, as we all know, is crucial. Not just the automatic breathing, but actually intentionally breathing and going slowly, not barreling through whatever you're doing, or barreling through your life, or, spiraling with your thoughts. And the next one, the present moment is filled with joy and happiness. If you're attentive, you will see it. And I think that sounds very similar um, to what Eckart Tolle said about the present moment, as well as Ram Dass, as well as Wayne Dyer. But I'll read it again. The present moment is filled with joy and happiness. If you're attentive, you will see it. So if you are looking for the joy and happiness in a present moment, in your life, in your job, in your relationship, if you are looking for that, you will find that thing. You will find those things. But if you're looking for what bothers you, you're focused on what's wrong, you will find more of that. Whatever you put your attention on, like that is exactly what is going to fill your space. So, yeah. Thanks for letting me share some of my favorite good words today. If there is anything that you are struggling with and you would like some advice, guidance, support, direction, please feel free to reach out. Good Words with Brandy Kelly on Instagram, same on YouTube. And then there is the Good Words Facebook group. You can always hop in there and just throw up whatever is grinding your gears. I just want to remind you that you matter. And I'm really glad that you're here. And I am thankful for you. And you are so loved. I will talk to you next Wednesday.